Welcome back to the channel. My name is Dez.
Yo, it is Derek.
Today we're going to talk about A Quiet Place. Do you want to give a plot summary? Or not plot summary, but like a synopsis?
Like what's happening?
Basic premise. There we go.
Yeah,
that's the word.
Okay, you got it. So basically what happened is world ended. Apparently you gotta be really quiet or things will kill you.
Yeah, sounds about right.
It's very basic. Let's kind of go over some non-spoilery stuff first, just overall about the movie, and then we'll give you all, since this is a very new movie, we'll give you all a nice, very plain and blatantly clear spoiler warning.
Yeah.
So that way we don't screw anything over for any of the people watching. Just in a general sense, I thought it was an amazing movie.
Yeah.
John Krasinski, the guy from The Office, was the director. Did he write and do everything?
Both. He's a writer and director.
So basically, he pulled a Jordan Peele and decided to go out of comedy and make his own horror movie. And ironically enough, those are two of the best horror movies I've seen in a very, very long time.
I will say it's not scary. It's more like thriller intense, because I'm someone who is deathly afraid of horror movies. I will have nightmares for weeks, and I was fine with this. Like, it gave you scares, you were jumpy, but it's not going to give you nightmares.
It was definitely more of a thriller than just a straight up horror, but it definitely had horror aspects to it.
It was very creepy. Stuff like that.
Something it did amazing was the way it used sound, and I guess it kind of becomes apparent in the name of Quiet Place. They did an amazing job basically using sound as what was causing the tension. Whereas, like, so basically every horror movie you're ever going to see uses jump scares. It's just the way it works. I'm usually not a fan of it, and I know I kind of had mixed feelings at first, because there are a lot of quote-unquote jump scares in this movie, but I feel like how they do it, instead of just like, character turns, dead person face, or like, character turns, monster, it was like they used sound to basically like set you up, and sometimes you wouldn't even see anything, it would just be sound that got you, which basically made you, I feel like, feel an even greater connection to the characters in the movie. Because when they heard a sound and they freaked out, you had that same freak out. It wasn't like, something as simple as at one point, I think this is really a spoiler, a lantern falls down.
That's kind of a spoiler.
No other context, I'm just saying a lantern will fall. In a lot of movies, if that happens, you're not going to jump or anything. Like, you're just going to be like, okay, that happened. But because of how well the sound and everything is done in this movie, when it hits you, and it's like your heart starts beating, which I thought was just a really cool, way they handled it. And
just to go off that point with the jump scares, usually in movies when they do jump scares, it's like you said, you turn and you see something, but then they add like a loud scare chord that has nothing to do with the scene, but that makes you jump. It's not actually seeing the thing that makes you jump. Yeah. So the reason why this movie works so well, having like that cliche, is because sound is scary within the context of the movie. So it works here.
I guess just the overall concept of like, there's basically, it focuses around a family. There's a family with some kids and the two parents, and then kind of like what they're going through in this post-apocalyptic world. When the movie opens, it says that, I believe it's day 89.
Yeah.
I want to say, when it first starts. So you're already past the point of this, basically the apocalypse is finished. There's no humans, it doesn't appear, or very few humans left. You kind of get, like, there's little freeze frames, you can catch newspaper clips and stuff as you read it and everything, and kind of get an idea of how that happens. And I do think at this point we might want to go into spoiler territory to further.
I had more stuff to say. You talk so
that.
Much.
You go with the non-spoilery stuff. Sorry.
Okay, spoilery type stuff. I was gonna say the whole movie focuses on just the family. Like, there are no other characters that you really see. So it really their acting has to work. They have to really pull you in and keep you there for a whole 2 hours. And they have to be believable as a family. And the acting, even with the child actors, was amazing.
And to portray that stuff without words most of the time is difficult to do.
They were using sign language for most of the movie.
Yeah.
Because they can't speak with sound, and because one of the daughters is deaf. So to go a whole movie pretty much without talking is amazing.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It was super impressive, the acting and obviously the directing necessary to get that to be portrayed, and the certain emotions that to be portrayed without words most of the time was super cool. Some words are spoken, it's not a silent movie.
They whisper, they speak quietly, but it is very quiet. Wow.
Yeah.
Take a shot every time we say quiet.
Yeah, actually though. Now I think we should go into spoiler
yeah.
stuff because there's a lot to talk about. So at this point, spoiler warning. You really should see this movie. We're just gonna start with this. Whatever you're doing, stop and go see the movie, and then come back to this. But there will be spoilers ahead.
Yeah.
And you don't want to get spoiled. It's really good.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start with early spoilers.
Can we talk about the monster coming out of nowhere and just killing that kid?
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh my god!
Early in the movie, hopefully if you're watching this, you've seen it at this point. So I'm super biased. I think children are the worst things to ever exist.
Please
I hate
don't
them
say
with
that.
a passion.
Stop that.
They're demons. So I'm super biased about how I feel because in the beginning of the movie, this family has 3 kids. This little dumb child decides he wants to play with a toy rocket ship. And his dumber sister decides to give it to him.
I looked up their names. So the sister's name is Reagan. The smallest child is Bo. And then the older kid is Marcus.
Yeah, they didn't talk much, actually. That's a good point. I didn't know their names. So Reagan decides to give Bo the rocket ship. After they had this whole altercation where the parents took it away from him, took the batteries out, and got super freaked out because there might be noise. At this point in the movie, in the beginning, you don't really know why they don't want noise. All of a sudden, she gives him the rocket ship. He sees the batteries, and this little genius is like, let me put the batteries. So he takes the batteries. They're walking home, and they got to walk on like sand paths, basically, so they don't make noise. This little genius decides to put the batteries in, and all of a sudden this noise comes, and it just starts playing like this like rocket ship noise, and he just holds it above his head. And like at this point, everybody's looking like, oh, this dumb ass. And you don't know what's going to happen yet.
Language.
Oh, sorry. This little dumb child. You don't know what's going to happen yet. Out of nowhere, this creature just sprints out and just eats his butt. Oh my god, it was amazing. At that point I knew I was gonna love the movie.
Yeah,
like the intensity.
They did not waste any time. I love that.
And there's a couple strategies with monster movies. You can have the hidden monster where like your mind is what messes with it. But they decided, and very few movies do this well, where the monster is revealed and you're still like it's still intense. And oh my god, out of nowhere, the kid just gets eaten, and it's amazing, and it's just so intense. So right away, you knew, like, there was no playing around. Like, if you make a noise, you're dead. And it made it very evident how you're dead. The monsters were really cool. I'll get into this at the end of the video. They looked like a mix between the Demogorgon in Stranger Things and a lot like the Clover in Cloverfield. So we'll mention that at the end.
Wait, actually, I think... Sorry, I'm going to mention it now. I think the Demogorgon parallel is on purpose. Because you know how in Stranger Things when the Demogorgon comes, it kind of shows that it's coming because the lights start flickering?
Yeah.
The same thing happened in the movie.
That's
so
true.
I think they did that as like an homage.
It definitely could be. So kind of getting more into like what happens in the movie now. So the little kid dies. There's a fast forwarding, and then you kind of get into
how the family's living now.
Exactly. Somehow they decided to get pregnant, which was the dumbest idea ever. So they're gonna have a kid. And then you kind of go through like the daily struggles. We can't go into too many specifics because we could talk about the movie forever with the whole plot.
For hours.
But I feel like some things we should focus on are...
Okay, let's talk about that baby.
Yes.
Because when you first see she's pregnant, you see that she's building this thing for the baby. And inside of the little, I guess, bed thing that she's made for the baby is like a hose connected to a canister. So as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh... they're going to kill the baby. They're going to gas the baby as soon as it comes out. It's like, that's so smart. The baby is going to cry like crazy.
Yeah.
When the baby comes out, they use it to muffle its screams.
Yeah, it turns out it was an oxygen tank. So basically what they did was they put an oxygen mask on it so they could seal it into a box and it could still breathe. That's what at least it appeared that they were trying to do. Yeah, they had to kill that baby.
I was like, that was so smart. What are you doing?
Yeah, we actually turned to her when we were watching. I was like, you gotta curb stomp the baby. Like, right away. You don't play around. Those things are...
You can't have a baby.
Those things are not... that was not a good decision. But I guess, whatever happens, happens. Like, I guess, real quick, we'll try to go over each of the characters, kind of how we feel about them, what their role was.
Okay, yeah.
John Krasinski's character, real quick.
The dad.
Overall lovable.
Amazing.
Great character. Acting was super good. Nothing to complain about with him.
He's just a crazy smart character in a horror movie, which is what you want. He
which
makes
is super
the right
rare.
decision every single time.
Now, to make up for all his intelligence, they threw in the other characters, and that's where the intelligence went downhill. his wife wasn't necessarily stupid.
No, she wasn't stupid at all. The only bad decision she made was to keep the baby.
Yeah, well,
that was the only character
that
flaw.
put it over the edge for me.
Not only does she step on a nail and like muffle her screams, she's freaking having contractions and having a baby while running away from one of the monsters.
Yeah.
Who does that? That mom, such a badass.
It was impressive. I'll give her that.
Oh my gosh, amazing.
Then the one son, Marcus, he was just kind of scared the whole time. He's there. The real plot is the relationship between John Krasinski's character, and I keep forgetting the dad's name, and
we don't know his name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Unnamed dad and Reagan. That's the real relationship. Basically, Reagan kind of gets blamed for the murder of the child by the monster because she's the one who gave him the rocket ship.
Well, technically, she doesn't get blamed.
Oh, she blames herself.
She blames her. Well, it's funny because everyone in the family blames himself except for the boy.
Yeah.
The mom blames herself because she wasn't carrying him.
Yeah.
The dad blames himself because he couldn't get there fast enough. And Reagan blames herself because she gave him the empty toy.
Yeah.
When really it's no one's fault.
Exactly. And Reagan kind of just assumes the whole time that it's her fault. And so this whole mending of the relationship between her and her dad in this tragic way is kind of...
It was so sweet. I teared up a lot.
Yeah.
It was very cute.
But then let's get to Reagan. I could not stand this little child. And again, I tell you I'm biased, but oh my God, I wanted this girl to get eaten so bad. The entire movie, they kept getting my hopes up, and I kept thinking it was going to happen, and it didn't happen, and I was not happy about that.
You're a horrible person.
She was just, bruh, and in the end of the movie, like, basically, spoiler alert, they use, like, this sonar stuff to see or hear sound, so if, like, a staticky noise happens, it's able to kind of, like, drive them crazy and cause them pain, and that's the way you beat the aliens. How I interpreted it was, this girl was just so annoying, her mere presence made the aliens want to kill themselves. Which was understandable. So
he's the worst person to watch a monster movie with because he's rooting for the monsters.
They were cool as these monsters. This movie were so cool. I absolutely loved them.
They were
I was
so creepy.
Rooting for them hardcore. Survival of the fittest. These things were way more fit than any humans on that planet. It was amazing. They were just so cool. They were literally like baby Cloverfields, but like so fast and had these like crazy teeth and like these like ninja blade hands, whatever. They were amazing. They're one of my favorite monsters I've ever seen in a movie. So
they were very cool.
I was rooting for them hardcore.
But no, who does that?
I was disappointed. Spoiler alert: the aliens don't win in the end of the movie.
That ending. Let's just talk about the ending. The ending was amazing. When she finally figures out how to kill them, and then the mom shoots it.
Yeah. And
then a whole horde starts coming, and the mom just. Oh, that was so great. That mom is a bad.
It's just an overall phenomenal movie.
Yeah.
The only kind of thing that I would have liked to see slightly different, and this is just me being kind of picky, is with the kind of dark nature of that whole movie and the sense of hopelessness, if they would have had an ending where the family died, I felt like it would have fit with the movie more so. So if
I think enough people died. Two people died.
Kind of the ending that I was hoping for was, if anybody's seen 10 Cloverfield Lane, when the girl escapes at the end of the movie and she's running and turns out there's all these aliens and like she manages to like take down something and escapes this one ship and she thinks she's getting away, so she's driving away, and then at the end you just see lightning strike in the night sky and it lights up and you just see alien ships everywhere, basically more or less saying, she's screwed. The world's done. And that's kind of how I hope this movie would end, where like there's this small victory where they kill one of them and then maybe go outside and see like a 50-foot tall one. It's like, you're screwed. Like the world's over. That's just, I really like dark horror movies like that. So
I feel like most people wouldn't appreciate that.
Probably not.
When they've done so much work to make you feel for this family, and they've come so far in terms of their emotional development with each other, for it just to mean nothing, that would not be a good.
I get you. I mean, obviously, I felt like I was rooting for the aliens, so like I kind of come from a weird perspective. But I love endings like that, where it's just like you had all this hope, and then like the darkness of reality comes in and tears it away. Sorry, that's the kind of movies I like.
Whoa, but something's wrong with you. You need to go to therapy. You want to talk about it?
I'm just saying.
Recommend or don't recommend? Definitely pay to see.
Oh, 1,000% pay to see. I'll start with my scale because you don't want to start with your scale.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's if it has people from Lost, people from Breaking Bad, J.J. Abrams.
Well, you should do your second because you can talk about the Cloverfield connection.
Exactly. So you go first.
Okay. So our scales are pretty much if a movie has any of these things, you're automatically interested in watching it. Mine is hot people, women, people of color, and queer people. This movie had hot people and women. John Krasinski and Emily Blunt. Very pretty. Also married in real life, so that was super cute.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. But go ahead.
Yeah, so it technically didn't reach the thing, like meet the things on my scale, but if you would have told me this movie was a J.J. Abrams movie, I would have believed you. Turns out, so this is a quick little aside, it was almost part of the Cloverfield universe, apparently. I was reading some stuff online. There were rumors that this was actually supposed to be one of the Cloverfield movies, or they were thinking about making it one, which would make perfect sense. One, the monsters look just like Clover.
Yeah,
like,
they do.
just look just like the Cloverfield monster. And if you've seen the other Cloverfields...
Wait, not the big one. You're talking about the little runny things, right?
No, it looks like the small version of the giant one.
Oh.
It looks just like it. And the thing is, in the first Cloverfield, the monster was the size of, like, buildings. In the Cloverfield Paradox, the monster was so big it came out of the clouds. It's meaning, in the Cloverfield universe and all the different realities, they're different sized aliens that came to take over. And I could have seen this fitting right in with little baby ones that have a whole different strategy of killing things. And it's funny, as a huge Cloverfield fan, I almost want to just pretend it's part of the universe, and this is another little part of it. There's so many aspects that reminded me a lot of kind of like a J.J. Abrams movie. Like, I felt like there were Easter eggs, especially all the newspaper articles and stuff. I really want to go back and watch that movie and pause and get to read all the headlines and everything, because it was talking about how, how the government was falling apart, how people didn't know what was happening. They saw these ships in the sky. They were calling them like angels of death, coming down to murder everyone, and it was just that part of it was so cool. They've already announced a potential sequel for this movie, and honestly, I would love for it to be a prequel. I would love to see how the world fell apart, because it's got me interested in the world so much, and because they didn't just because they focused on this one family in this little farm, I want to know more about that world. There's so much that interests me about that world, so...
I'm kind of the opposite.
Really?
I love when you take a micro approach to a movie and you just see what the characters see, because it keeps you from getting too much going on at once. It makes it really
I'm happy the movie
focused,
did that, but I wouldn't mind learning more about it in other movies.
I think it would take some of the magic away. But I don't know. Maybe. If they did a good job, I guess it wouldn't matter, but I really like the micro approach.
Yeah, it was amazing. I really did like it, and despite the fact that I felt like I was frustrated with some of the characters a lot of the movie, because they were making a lot of bad decisions outside of the dad.
I feel like in terms of a normal horror movie, they were making way fewer bad decisions.
They
were pretty good.
I guess I'm just bitter the aliens didn't win. We can't always get what we want. Rest in peace, little Clovey that was killed in that movie.
But yeah, obviously... we liked this movie, despite Derek being super cynical.
It gets me emotional. I was sad when that alien died. He didn't deserve it.
Also, their little sticky outy things were so creepy. Gave me chills. It was really nasty. Reminded me of The Last of Us. It didn't look the same, but looking at it gave me the same, I don't want to look at it. But anyway.
So to wrap it up, because we've talked for a long time, go see this movie. Everything about it was really, really good. It was super intense. You're gonna... regardless of what you're going to think about anything that happens in the movie, you're going to feel that intensity, and you're going to feel that sense of panic that the characters are feeling, which I feel like something like a movie like this really wants to do. Yeah. So
also, if you can see it as soon as possible and still see it in a crowded theater, watching it with a bunch of people around you all gasping and jumping at the same time is super cool. So do that.
Yeah, the theater experience, especially with the sound.
Yeah.
The theater experience is super cool. So yes, jump on it, go see this movie. Yeah, I don't know what you're just still doing here looking at us. Just go. No matter what time of the day, go. Now. Run.
All right. We'll see you guys next week for another Movie Monday. Bye.
So, if anybody's
they
worried.
Whisper, they speak quietly, but
Sorry. Centers around him. The real plot is the relationship between...
Derek!
Sorry.